Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the 90th Minute Podcast. We've got your hosts, myself, Woz, Lucas, and Greg. No Liam, no Matt. Busy. It's Easter weekend, things are happening.
Happy Easter to everyone.
Yeah, exactly. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Share us your thoughts in the comments below on football if you want us to answer any questions and whatnot. Also, if you have not noticed, we are on this app called Locker Room. If you'd like to come hang out, we're doing these like 3 times a week where it's a live podcast. You can come and hang out, talk with us, ask your questions, like actually, have conversations with us. Not just in the comments, but live. This is what kind of the app looks like if you're right now watching. Unfortunately, if you're on audio apps, you can't see it. But download Locker Room.
I'll have the link in the bio.
Yeah, and it's only on iOS right now. Give us all a nice little follow. That way you know when we're live next. And we'll post on our social medias when we're going to do another Locker Room live. So it's a good way for us to kind of talk with you guys. It's kind of like the Twitch streams without the video. It's just audio. So, anyways, yeah, let's get into the football. International break is finally over. Although we can probably cover some matches that happened early in the week. But we're going to kick things off with the Premier League as it is
club
back.
football's back, yes.
I think everybody missed that more. I think it's more important right now, I feel. I think we should kick things off with the match that just happened before we start recording this. Lucas, Man United, Brighton, another interesting match.
I thought United were gonna drop points. I was very happy after that first half. Of course, you're the Manchester United fan. The floor is yours.
Well, I was more worried because of the words I said about Liverpool the other day. On Locker Room, where I was like, oh, Liverpool are crap, your back line is crap, you're going to lose to Arsenal, and then you guys win 3-0, so just banter at the end of the day, yes? Yeah? No?
Well, we'll get to that game later, but
yeah. Yeah, so we beat Brighton, a very close game against Brighton, and I'll be honest, the first half, we did not look very good. We looked very flat. We didn't seem like we're going for it, not enough creativity, and it just seemed like Brighton were the better side. They were more prepared, it seemed, from my point of view, and it was a great goal from Brighton in the 13th minute, great cross to Danny Welbeck, who puts it home, and credit to Brighton. They didn't play terrible. I thought Trossard was great. I know the Polish lad Moder, he's been playing pretty well as well, so...
Surprised he was at left wing back or left mid.
Yeah.
I used to see him playing in the central midfield when he was at Lech Poznan and whenever he plays for the Poland national team, but...
Very versatile.
I mean, he's made a few mistakes, but I think Brighton as a team made a few mistakes in this game, as we saw later.
And obviously, Brighton, they have the lead 1-0 going into the second half, and United, they needed a life. They were lacking it, and they kind of came out the way they needed to. Yeah, they essentially woke up and started to take control of the game, as they should have from kickoff. And then Marcus Rashford with a nice little goal, nice finish. Great pass by Bruno. And then later on, towards the end of the game, Greenwood gets also kind of lucky, but good positioning, has it home in the 83rd minute. Overall, not the prettiest game from United. I mean, that's a couple clubs this weekend, I think. Chelsea, for example. But honestly, I think Brighton deserved a penalty.
Yeah, that was a really contentious point in that game. It was still was it 1-1 still at the time, or was it 2-1?
I think it was 1-1, yeah. And then, I don't know, Harry Maguire basically toppled over Welbeck, it seemed. And I thought originally it's going to be a penalty. And, like... They didn't call it originally, so they took a look at VAR. I'm like, okay, VAR is probably gonna make this a penalty. No, it did not. VAR once again decides, nah.
How I saw it was, Welbeck was bringing his foot back to shoot. Harry Maguire clipped him a little and prevented him from getting his foot forward quick enough to get to the ball. So I thought that was going to be a penalty, but I was really surprised that the check was so quick.
Yeah, it was actually kind of weird how quick they took the look at it and just said no penalty. And I know one of my followers, Mr. Holmes, he said, bullshit. I call bullshit. I know why United don't have a transfer budget, because they get all the money and pays the refs off.
It seems like Harry Maguire gets away with some of these penalty calls.
Honestly, yeah, he gets away with murder.
It's weird because, like, when it's something like that, you think, like, VAR so many times has like they've taken so long to actually check stuff like this, but like it was like you said, it was a quick one, and I don't know. Sometimes it's just weird.
Overall,
something they saw that we didn't see, I guess. Or the
credit
opposite.
to Brighton, they didn't play terrible, and they challenged us, which was good on them. But was I satisfied with United's performance? Probably not. I mean, 3 points are 3 points, but there are moments where United plays, and it doesn't feel like we're a second place team in this league, right? Like it feels like it takes forever for us to get into the match, and
that's been so many times.
Yeah,
this season.
I look at the table, I'm like, how are we second? Like sure, like there was a moment where we conceded 1 goal in 6 matches. We got a bunch of clean sheets, and then still, it's just sometimes the way United plays is very maybe chaotic. It just doesn't seem very stable at times. I don't know if that's...
I can tell you why you're in second. Because in at least more than half your games, when United honestly do start slow, most of their first halves are always brutal. But most of the time, you actually can come back in the second. You wake up, play a good second half. A lot of the other teams just haven't been doing that at all.
The reverse Uno card there, Greg, is Brighton also lose a bunch of points from winning positions this season. I think it's more than 17 points they've lost when they were in a winning position.
And I don't know if it comes down to Ole sometimes. I know a lot of fans just don't like him. There's some fans who want to see him do well, like myself. Like I'm patient with him because that's just kind of who I am. I haven't had moments where I'm like, I want him out, like kind of had with Mourinho or Van Gaal. So maybe it's just who I am as a person. I'm kind of patient. I can see the progress. But
there are times where you were tinkering. You're getting closer to that. You wanted him out.
Yeah, and then of course we go on a good run of form, and he saves his ass. And the football gets a little more
usually
exciting.
Change your mind a good bit.
Yeah, but I'm trying to be patient with him. Like the football under him is like, it's not been the worst I've seen under United managers. And the unfortunate thing is with Solskjaer is that he's gonna stay if they get Champions League. Like they're not gonna. If he,
you're in second place. You're still in Europa League, so it's not bad.
And you're also probably not going to drop out of the top 4, really. Like 60 points, you're 11 points ahead of 5th place.
No, while Leicester lost.
Well, I know
of course,
there's a lot of United fans that they want him out, and even like fans that they're like, oh, United need to get rid of him. He's not a good enough manager. Well, the fact is that he will stay if they get Champions League consistently, because that's what the board and the Glazers only care about, unfortunately. They don't seem to have the desire to go out and spend money to end up winning trophies, right? So that's just fact.
You're still in Europa League. You have a good chance at it. Mm-hmm. So,
but I think that there's a good amount of discussion for that match. I think we should move on. Greg, it looked good initially for a bit. Let's just talk about it.
I mean, I thought we dominated the game for 77 minutes of the game.
Before you get going, for people who don't know, we're going to talk about Aston Villa versus Fulham. Greg is a Fulham supporter.
I don't know. I was very happy with our lineup. Starting lineup looked good. I mean, first half was kind of boring. Just a pretty calm game where we had some decent chances, but just couldn't put it away. Villa didn't really do too much, I'd say. And then there's a late penalty call, but luckily VAR overturned it. It was very close to him just getting the ball on it, and thank God it wasn't a penalty at the time. Start of second half, scary moment. I'm still not sure of it, but Ademola Lookman, who's probably been our best attacking player all season, goes down injured and has to come off. So was really not good. But Alexander Mitrovic finally scored for Fulham.
He got some help though.
Yeah, he definitely did get some help. But you gotta give him the praise, I guess, for actually pressing there and actually like not giving up on something like that.
So, having that instinct that he could win the ball potentially, I think that was very good by him, and he gave you guys a 1-0 lead. But that mistake that Mings made, someone on Fulham made a similar mistake.
Yeah, well, that was the second goal. First goal, I mean, Tyrone Mings, for Villa's first goal, that's really good. Down the left wing as a center back. Puts a good ball in.
He used to be a left back. When he was at Bournemouth, he was a left back before he got a massive injury. So he's showing some ability that he had back in the day. But I know you didn't like to see that.
No, I definitely didn't. Because Trezeguet came in Because honestly, El Ghazi was doing nothing. So Trezeguet came in for him, and he scores. Commentators, for one, are talking about how Fulham are undefeated in their past 9 games away. So it always happens. You talk about something, and then it happens. Then they're talking about Trezeguet hasn't scored in the league this season. Of course, he scored 2 goals. And it just all went downhill.
Trezeguet saw Mo Salah yesterday and was motivated.
Honestly, because it was just a rough time.
And then Watkins got the 3rd goal as well.
Yeah.
Just the last 15 minutes for you, not good at all. And of course, that doesn't help too much in your fight to stay in the Premier League next season. Of course, you guys are still 18th place, 3 points behind 17th, a team we will mention in a second. But they also have a game in hand on you. So, are you still confident, Greg?
I think we can bounce back from it. It worries me that Newcastle actually, which is of course the team in 17th that we're trying to catch, actually looked pretty good today. Honestly, they looked a lot better than they have for the past 15 games or so in the league, and it definitely worries me. So,
yeah, I mean, if we're gonna go to that game right now, Tottenham drew Newcastle 2-2, which is surprising result coming from Newcastle considering how they performed this year.
Honestly, and they looked good. They probably should have won the game.
I mean, I know we can't really always buy into expected goals. Of course, it's a good stat to use sometimes. But when you look at the expected goals for Newcastle versus Spurs, Newcastle had 4.07 expected goals, while Spurs had 2.3. Newcastle were expected to score over 4 goals in this game.
Jeez.
Yeah. That's insane.
Crazy.
Newcastle created a bunch of chances like Greg mentioned. But, I mean, Maurice had a great double save earlier in the game. That was incredible. But, fortunately, he couldn't help his side as Newcastle did score towards the end. And depending on what perspective you look at, you can say, wow, what a performance by Newcastle. Or you could look at the other perspective. What's going on with Spurs?
Yeah.
Spurs are, I think, a good way of putting it, just inconsistent. I think everyone knows that.
And I mean, it shows. They scored 2 goals. Harry Kane got both goals, again. And it just seems like Harry Kane is just dragging this team through the mud at times. And
it's true. I see what you're meaning, and there's been reports of how Spurs want to try their best to keep hold on to Harry Kane if he wants to leave this season, and they're going to put a massive price tag, of course, on him. Yeah, it's expected, but
it just, I don't know. Spurs this season, they were in first, and everyone's predicting
Do you think it's kind of almost for Spurs? They're kind of going through an identity crisis under Mourinho. They don't know what they want to be. Mourinho kind of has this ideology behind him that he's he plays defensive football, a little bit maybe pragmatic, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word to say.
Where I see Spurs in that situation is I feel Spurs have such a good attacking threats, in my opinion, with Son, Kane, Bale times, and other players like that, Lo Celso, Lucas, Lamela, they have these attacking threats, but they play a defensive style. But I feel like their defense isn't good as individual players, so then they always make mistakes, and it just costs them goals. And I don't know, it's weird to me.
Yeah, I think there's also similar problems at United. As you know, Mourinho always would love to play that 1-0 victory, but United, you guys didn't have the players to keep the clean sheet always. And I think the same thing's, it's a little bit the same with Spurs, because, Davinson Sanchez, he can have his ups and downs. He can be a great defender at times, but hasn't really become that elite defender that some expected him to become when he came to Spurs. Rodon, he's still pretty young. He's new to the club. And, I don't think Tanganga is a perfect right back. He's still young as well. And Reguilon, I think he's good. I don't really have too much problems with him. For his role as a left back, he does a great job. And, of course, Højbjerg is... I think he's a good Mourinho player. But I want to see guys like Ndombele more involved. I think they have so much more they can showcase. But I feel like at times, sometimes with Mourinho, they restrict some players.
I thought I watched about the last 20 minutes of this game or so, and Ndombele looked good in that time, honestly. He was doing what he does. He gets by players and creates chances. I don't know. I mean, Harry Kane also hit the post. It was, of course, just quickly mentioned, like, it was 2-1 in this game, and Harry Kane goes down and hits the post, and they literally come back and score. Newcastle scores to make it 2-2, like, off that break. That's usually what happens.
Football, man. Slight things that don't go your way can change everything.
Yeah, I think this summer, 100%, Spurs are going to go out and try and get a number 1 center back. Like, it needs to happen.
In just 120 appearances away from home, Harry Kane has scored 84 Premier League goals, the most by a player on the road for a single club. That's insane.
Yeah, he's crazy.
I mean, like, we can criticize Mourinho's Spurs all we want, but yeah, I think Newcastle definitely showed they desperately wanted a good result in this match, and they got what
they needed. And get fair play to Newcastle. They played a good game, got a pretty good result. I mean, they probably wanted more considering the match, but a 2-2 against a team like Spurs isn't bad.
And then we'll quickly mention Southampton. I didn't get to catch this match. I don't think you guys did either because it was at 5 a.m. in the morning for us. But Southampton did come back from 2-0 down to win 3-2. Oh, wow. So fair play to them, I think. Yeah,
Southampton just was... They looked dead in the first half. But the first 2 goals, like the first 30 minutes, they looked dead. Yeah, and a clear penalty. Like, it honestly was when VAR went back and looked at it. And it was a good finish. And then Vidra's goal was, I thought, like, horrible defending by Southampton, but great attacking play by Burnley. It was just a good play. And then, I don't know, it's something that Burnley doesn't do. Usually it's not, like, just play good defensive football and hold their lead. No, they blow a 2-goal lead and they lose 3-2.
So not ideal for them, but, of course, both sides still have a bit of a margin between the relegation spots, so we'll see how the next few weeks pan out for all those clubs down there. But
Lucas, this was the Southampton attacking threat that we saw earlier in this season that we haven't seen in the past 10 games or so. Just Armstrong, Danny Ings, Redmond, Walcott, all working together as a front four, and it looked really good.
Well, hopefully we continue seeing that because I think when Southampton play at their best, they're a very exciting team to watch.
They're in first in the league. And let's not forget, they're also in the FA Cup semi-finals. So it'd be very good for them if they go on and win an FA Cup.
All right, next let's move on to the Saturday matches. Lucas, let's talk about Liverpool. 3-0 over Arsenal.
How'd you feel?
Give us your analysis.
Yes.
You're very happy.
Liverpool, we're back. Okay, I won't go ahead of myself because
well, you can't win the title anymore. You're officially out, I'm sorry to say.
Well, yes, we officially are eliminated from the title. That is a shame for us.
I think we knew City was winning the title 10 games before that.
But Liverpool were mathematically eliminated before they could even kick the ball off this Saturday. Yeah. But no need to fear because Arsenal were not here.
Woz, no, they weren't. Woz, you're giving the thumbs up there. Would you rather Liverpool win the title or would you rather City win the title?
I prefer not to speak.
But going into this match, during the first half we were doing our locker room session, but I was keeping a close eye on it, and what I noticed was Liverpool had a lot of the ball. Arsenal were not being threatening at all. And Liverpool could have scored one. Milner had a good chance where he missed the net. I think he could have done a bit better on that, but put himself into a good position.
It seemed it was a little dead first half. It seemed like Liverpool couldn't really get it going, and then Arsenal just were bad and slow.
A little, yeah. But, of course, we're seeing actual center backs play at center back for Liverpool. We're seeing Fabinho play his more natural role as a number 6 for Liverpool. And I thought it was brilliant to watch. Fabinho so good in that role, man.
Yeah, he's
just
showing
everywhere.
Why he's the best.
Wins the
role.
Ball, intercepting the ball, able to make great passes, touch of class. he had a big involvement for the goal later on, but of course the first goal came from Mr. Diogo Jota. Liverpool not really finding any chances or clear chances as of yet, but they subbed off Robbo, which was a little confusing to the commentators at least. But that meant James Milner would go back to left back, and Liverpool would probably would play more of a 4-2-3-1 type system, kind of. But we saw Alexander-Arnold, who was having a great game at the time, to be fair to him. What a cross to Diogo Jota. Incredible. And Diogo Jota he's a bit of a small guy, but for a guy his size, he scores a bunch of headers.
You know what? It reminds me of Mane, like, last season. Mane was scoring headers, like, all the time last season, and he's not that big.
Yeah, Jota's probably arguably, like, your best signing this year, and one of the best signings of the league, so he's had a great impact.
100%.
As soon as he got into that team, he started scoring and creating chances and just being a threat, so it's good for Liverpool considering all the issues they've had this season. It's like a little light in the darkness.
Yeah, considering it's been a bad season for Liverpool, he is 100% the spark or the shining light.
Yeah, and the cross from Trent, of course, Lucas, you said it was fantastic. I'm not gonna. Yeah. Finally, one of his crosses hit someone.
He was having a good game with his crosses. Honestly, I think he had several passes, like not just crosses in the air, but like low-driven passes where he found an opportunity. And unfortunately, Liverpool weren't able to score. But we saw Fabinho. He was receiving the ball. He saw Mo Salah potentially running against Gabriel, so he put a one-time pass in behind. Mo Salah was able to get past Gabriel. Gabriel tried to slide tackle the ball, but the ball still went past him. And Mo Salah, where it looked like he had no right to score, scored.
That's what I really like about Mo Salah. I know a lot of people like to say how he's overrated, underrated, but that's why I really enjoy him as a player, because he finds ways to put the ball in the back of the net so simply, yet it looks so hard. I don't know, just the way as soon as he gets in the box, he's a threat, and his finishing is just so it's fair to say undercover. It's like you don't.
I know what you mean. Yeah, like he kind of just gets a shot off real quick, and it has a lot of power. The way he opens up his body, like it's just nice.
I mean, sometimes he just, when he thinks he has a slight look at goal, he shoots right away. There's a point where, like, the ball was coming right to him near the top of the box. He just shot and completely missed the net, which was kind of funny.
For me, Mohamed Salah, he's the ideal winger. Everything he does.
I wouldn't say the perfect winger, not ideal winger. I think sometimes he's a bit hesitant when he's like facing someone one-on-one and trying to dribble past them. That's my only fault about him. But otherwise, he does a fantastic job for them.
Yeah.
Like, he gets into great positions to score. Sometimes he has bad runs of form, but I mean, most players aren't able to score every single game. But of course, Diogo Jota, he's made it 3-0 with that ball that went to Sadio Mane. But Sadio Mane instead let the ball go, and Diogo Jota smashed it home, 3-0. Arsenal embarrassed. I think their first shot came in like the 60-something minute, and it was a shot that went right at Alisson or something like that from Cedric. And of course, a big talking point was that Tierney, he went down with injury, which is not ideal for Arsenal. Of course, Saka and Smith Rowe were missing from this match as well. So
yeah, the youngsters have been a big part of Arsenal's season, and them not being there is a big miss. And then, like you said, Tierney's probably been Arsenal's best player, and yeah, it's really not good.
I know we have some Arsenal fans who listen. There's some people who say, "Why don't you talk about Arsenal enough?" And I think when it comes to Arsenal, this is just like it's one of those moments where it's kind of more of the same that we've seen this season.
Yeah, I mean, I think a big problem for them is as much as I like the guy, especially at Dortmund, but Ballman was not very useful.
No. He's also had a rocky season. He just doesn't look like the same player from last year, the year before.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just due to the fact that maybe he doesn't get that adrenaline from maybe having fans this game. I don't know if that's a dumb excuse, but
I think part of it is maybe he's getting a bit comfortable with the contract he got. I think that's definitely could be a reason. And
yeah,
I also don't think he's a guy capable of leading a team, like being a captain. I know lots of places on the media are saying that as well, like Sky Sports. I heard Hugh Wizzy talk about that.
He's a great player, but is he should he be the captain for Arsenal? It's like that's just the
And I know Liam makes that point all the time. Like they don't have any leaders on line, but it's kind of an overreaction after a 3-0 loss because they've had some all right results throughout the last couple of months.
They've been very inconsistent. I think the West Ham game
season,
summarizes that. They were down 3-0 at halftime, then came back and tied it 3-3 by the end.
Yeah,
they can be great sometimes, but there's a lot of points this season where it is a bit dire to watch them.
Yeah, and I think like if they can get into the Europa League spot, that's what they're aiming for. Champions League's like way too.
They can still win the Europa League to get into Champions League.
That's my point, and that's where what I was getting with next is, I think that's something they just got to focus on right now. Try and win the Europa League.
They can try to focus on that, but if they get past Slavia Praha and Villarreal get past Dinamo Zagreb, we get Unai Emery versus Arsenal.
It'd be crazy.
We
Let's
talked
move
plenty
on
about
now.
that game.
Yeah,
So
let's go to City at Leicester, which was another headline match, considering first versus third. But for City, it seemed a little comfortable.
It was a comfortable win for City.
2-0.
Honestly.
Benjamin Mendy with a nice finish, unexpected but good finish either way.
there was a point in this match where there was a 5-minute period where Manchester City had 100% possession.
Yeah.
Oh, that's disgusting.
That just sounds like City.
Yeah.
It really does. Like, it was a pretty boring game, but that's just sometimes how City plays. It's just they bore the other team.
I think we all
I
maybe
guess,
expected a little bit more out of Leicester. Like Tielemans, I think he had a bit of a chance. I don't know if it's in the second half. He played okay, but there was no one really stand out. I know they tried to get the ball to Iheanacho a few times, get him through, but
I know James Maddison, when he came in, he had a few chances, but
I think with City, I'm seeing a lot of comparisons with them and Liverpool from last season. You could compare these two sides constantly with the last few years, but like last season, Liverpool were very good defensively during their unbeaten point throughout most of the season, and sometimes compared to previous years, Liverpool weren't as exciting to watch, but they were getting the job done. Now City are still playing good football, but at times they are a little more patient with the possession, and they're fantastic defensively. And I think Pep definitely thinking, okay, we need to win the league, no matter how, in what way, and that's what we've been seeing this season from Manchester City, and that's what we saw with Liverpool last year. So,
yeah,
right now for City, it's more about what are they going to do in the Champions League.
And the big thing is, I 100% agree with that with the Champions League. They really do want to go out and win that for Aguero. Of course, they'll win the title for him.
Yeah, we forgot to mention that. I think everyone knows this by now, but Aguero, it was announced that he will be leaving City at the end of the season. Not too sure where. I would like to see him go to Barcelona if that's possible. I know they're looking for a striker, but I can see MLS. But he's a Premier League icon, especially for the last generation, the last 10 seasons. As much as I hate to say it, yeah.
Yeah, he's been fantastic. But they'll want to win the Champions League for him to send him out on a good note. But quickly, one thing is, I know lots of people give Benjamin Mendy a lot of hate on the City lineup. It's kind of like, well, why is Cancelo not playing? Why is Zinchenko not playing? It's just been kind of just not the best player for him. But he scored a nice goal, honestly.
Yeah.
So
fair play to Mr. Benjamin. Of course, let's cover the rest of the matches. Of course, Sheffield United, they suffered a defeat to Leeds United 2-1, as well as Chelsea. Shocked. Incredible. 5-2 loss.
Yeah. We did talk about this in our Twitch stream and then the locker room over the weekend. We kind of were saying this in a locker room before, talking about our predictions being Chelsea had a lot of players going international duty, while West Brom had a lot of players just getting ready this entire time, being ready, and they for sure were ready. They came out and played a good game against Chelsea.
For sure the red card played a part.
Oh, 100%. When your leader in the back line, I know you got Azpilicueta, but like someone like Thiago Silva just gets a red card in like the 30th minute or whenever it was, it plays a big part.
But it's probably the first time Tuchel was not exactly challenged because he has been challenged in the past with difficult matches, but like something unexpected to happen where he needs to switch things up. And of course, we've been seeing him playing this 3-back system for Chelsea throughout the entire time he's been there for the most part. I know there's one case where they played a 4 in the back.
Yeah.
But we've been mostly seeing this, and he had to make a quick adjustment to that, and unfortunately the adjustments didn't work. Granted, they're down to 10 men, but we saw some incredible goals by West Brom.
Yeah, 100%. Mateus Pereira is a very good player. He's very good, and I'm curious to see if West Brom's able to hold on to him if they get relegated.
Watch him go to West Ham. I mean, for some reason, I just see a guy like him going to West Ham. I know they already have plenty of players like that, like Ben Rama there already, but yeah, he's a very talented player. I don't think he's been able to showcase it as much this season due to West Brom's poor form. But I heard a lot of good things about him in the championship, and yeah, he's doing good things here. Werner, not much there to say. He did get an assist, but still no goals.
I feel bad for Timo Werner just because he's just had an abysmal start to the Premier League life. Like everyone thinks he's a flop, and he's this and that. I mean, he has talent and quality, but when his confidence is not there, it's hard for him to master anything up, right? Like even for Germany, he's not performing. And I mean, I know like before he came to the Premier League, we looked at his like shooting percentage stats in the Bundesliga, and his goals to shot percentage was not great, I think, right, Lucas?
No,
like,
wasn't that? We had a meme on that in our first year of the 90th minute.
Yeah.
But also Jorginho, I heard he was doing well in recent matches, but then this match, a couple bad mistakes, including a pass that led to Thiago Silva sending off. And also I saw a point where where West Brom went on a counterattack and they ended up scoring. Kovacic was just standing there doing nothing, just walking back.
I don't know. It's one of those things I think where like international break can kind of have an effect on clubs because some players maybe are just mentally focused or maybe a little fatigued here and there. I mean, it's not an excuse because they're professional athletes at the end of the day, but like I was worried. I'm like, well, if Chelsea can lose 5-2 to West Brom, I'm sure United could lose to Brighton. So
well, it could have happened, but no.
Yeah, it almost did. So
this could just be a one-off. We'll see. But of course, Chelsea are in the Champions League as well. I'm sure we'll mention that in just a little bit.
I really hope FC Porto take advantage of this.
Tomorrow we do have Everton, Crystal Palace, and Wolves versus West Ham. Some decent matches there, of course. So it will definitely have big implications, especially for top 4 and towards the bottom of the table. So we'll see what happens with those matches.
Now, where do we move on to next? What shall we discuss?
Let's quickly go through the rest of the leagues. Because I want to quickly talk about La Liga, because beginning of this podcast, I was watching towards the end of the Atletico Madrid match that just ended about 10-15 minutes ago. I was paying more attention to the match in the first half than the second, but Sevilla did defeat Atletico Madrid 1-0, which is a massive result. Atletico Madrid, I thought they created some good chances. They really should have scored a goal, but Sevilla's goalkeeper made some good saves and also some poor finishing. Oblak did save a penalty in the first half, but at the end of the day, 1-0 for Sevilla. And what does this mean for the title?
Massive result for Sevilla. And I'm sure Barcelona fans and Real Madrid fans are just praising Sevilla.
It's almost as if, like, sure, Atletico are at top of the table right now, but it's like, it's slowly slipping from them?
Yeah, you could say
it's been slipping for a good bit now, honestly.
Real Madrid did get a victory. They're third in a row in La Liga. They're now 3 points behind Atletico Madrid. Barcelona, they played Real Valladolid. Real Valladolid, yes. If Barcelona win,
they're only just 1 point behind.
1 point. Yes, Greg.
And they still play each other. So
yeah. We still have a tight La Liga race going on. I thought earlier in the season when Atletico Madrid was ahead by so much and both Real Madrid and Barcelona were performing very poorly, I thought this was going to be in Atletico Madrid's hands, but it seems like things have slowed down.
Yeah, 100%. I think it was just like Atletico Madrid was up here, Real Madrid and Barcelona were both like playing wise, and then they kind of just went down and it kind of went back like over.
Yeah.
It's just Atletico Madrid were playing better than what their standards were, I guess.
Of course, we don't follow the league very closely, but I know Barcelona have been performing a lot better recently. Atletico Madrid haven't really been having consistent results, especially their backline. I've seen like multiple different backlines from them in the past few months. So, and also the lack of goal scoring, as you saw with them not scoring the goals against Sevilla when they had some good chances, especially at the end there.
Well, yeah, well, and of course Barca and Atletico Madrid both don't have European competition right now, while Real Madrid does. So, see how it goes.
Also, I think this has to be worth mentioning. There is I didn't check any updates in the last few hours, but there's apparently supposed racism in the match between Cadiz and Valencia.
I saw this.
From supposedly Kala said something to Diakabi. Diakabi did not like what he heard, walked off the pitch. The Valencia teammates walked off the pitch as well. And from what we know, at least at the time of recording, is that Diakabi told the Valencia players to go onto the pitch and play. I think he asked to get subbed off or something like that. And yeah, and the game continued, and Cadiz did win 2-1 at the end.
Yeah.
It's
just things we don't want to hear. Like, it's just dumb.
I think it's more ridiculous that sometimes, like especially recently, it seems like it's coming from players. Like, you should be smarter than that. Don't be dumb. Like, you say that, and right now you're gonna cause a firestorm on social media for your club, for yourself, and obviously no one should be racist. I'm not trying to make any exceptions here.
But as a player, like, you have bigger standards. Like, you
have this responsibility.
Exactly.
And it's just sad. Simple as that. Like, grow up. Essentially, like, if you're gonna trash talk someone on the pitch, you can do that without bringing up race, man. Yeah. Like, be better.
Like, unfortunately, it's things that just keep happening, and hopefully there's gonna be some repercussions from this. Of course, there's probably gonna have to be an investigation about this, see if they can figure things out, what was said, things like that. But yeah, let's move on from that though, and I think should we talk about Bundesliga, because there's a massive match.
Yeah, we'll talk about the Bundesliga, where it seems like Bayern, of course, will end up winning at the end of the season because they got their big result over Leipzig.
Yeah.
So
Crazy game.
No drama in Bundesliga, really.
Oh, there's some drama. We'll get into it in a second, Woz.
Okay.
But for Bayern Munich versus RB Leipzig, I think Liam and I were watching this on the Twitch watch-along, and we were very impressed by Leipzig, how they're pressing, how they're winning the ball high up the pitch, but they're unable to... They created some good chances, of course, but they weren't able to get the chances to score the goal. Manuel Neuer made some good saves as well, and the only goal to separate them was Thomas Muller passing it to Leon Goretzka, who fired it to the back of the net. And the differences between clubs like Bayern and the rest can sometimes be just quite small, but it's just a bit of quality that Bayern has. And
yeah, exactly.
And that's without...
I was going to say, Bayern just have so much confidence in themselves. They know they can get a result against any team in the world, So
they just have that perseverance. They know when their backs are against the wall, where they need to get a win to potentially win the Bundesliga, they end up finding a way to get it. You always see it in the matches in the last few years against Dortmund, whether they just get that small chance to score the goal and get the advantage, or they just smash Dortmund at that point.
I was just trying to say that's without Robert Lewandowski.
Yeah.
The absolute.
The thing is, a lot of people are like, "Oh, how is Bayern going to be without Lewandowski?" Like, they don't solely rely on him. They can win without him. It's Bayern Munich.
They showed that they can win without him,
and I think there was a joke going around like, okay, I think it was Muller asked, "Who's going to score the goals for you now?" Goretzka. Or something. Like, oh, girl, Goretzka will score, and he scores.
Yeah.
So, and like, I think people were like also saying it's like, oh, this means PSG should go through comfortably, well, not comfortably against Bayern, but they're the favorites now because Lewandowski, because he's out for 4 weeks, unfortunately. Like, no, don't ever count out Bayern Munich. Like, there's something about them that like they're I don't know what I'm saying anymore, but you know what I mean, I think.
I understand the sentiment you're saying. But just going through other quick results in the Bundesliga. Massive match for top 4 and potentially a future of one of Dortmund's players. Frankfurt defeated Dortmund 2-1. I I watched the first half of this match. Dortmund did not impress me that much. I thought their play style, they tried to cross the ball too much and it went to nowhere really. I thought that Haaland had a few good chances to score though, but unfortunately he wasn't able to take them. And Schultz scored a very odd home goal. He headed the ball backwards and it ended up going into his own net. And then Mats Hummels did score off a corner. Of course, Dortmund's top performers this season for the goals have been Haaland, Sancho, and Mats Hummels, because Hummels somehow scores a bunch of goals for Dortmund. But it was still 1-1 going to halftime. I missed the second half, but I did see the goal that won it for Frankfurt, where Kostic, who's been playing incredible recently, he ends up crossing it to Andre Silva, who heads it into the back of the net. I hope I'm not misremembering that, but yeah, Frankfurt, huge win. That keeps them 7 points ahead of Dortmund in 4th place with 7 games left in the Bundesliga.
That doesn't look pretty. Like, I want to give Dortmund some love, but their season has been, inconsistent, and they're trying to keep hold of Haaland. It's gonna be tough. I know they want to keep him until next season. They don't want to. Their price tag's like 150 million. So, and I doubt they're gonna win the Champions League in order to stay next year. So,
and results like that that's what makes Haaland want to leave. Like especially if you're not gonna be in Champions League next year.
Now, if we look at the top 5 here, though, Dortmund, obviously you still have a chance, even if it's 7 points behind, but for the top 4 race, let's look at the losses each of the teams in the top 4 have. They have either 3 losses or 4 losses. Dortmund have lost 10 times this season.
Yeah.
If you lose 10 times in a season, Champions League shouldn't even be a question for you. You're not going to be getting into the European competitions next year.
You got to at least turn some of those losses into draws. At least. And it's just... It shows that they just can't get it done on some nights. Like, it's like where the good teams, even if they play bad, they'll still get a okay result or a good result kind of thing.
Gotta give fair play to Wolfsburg, man. They've been performing well recently. They got the 1-0 victory over Cologne. It's just a solid team. They got a bunch of young talent in there that are promising and developing well. They've got a bunch of veterans in there that are continuing to perform and helping them get into the top 4. I did not expect Wolfsburg to be a contender for the top 4 this season, but they've proven a lot of people wrong, and I'm very excited to see what happens with them for the rest of the season. Of course, Schalke.
Yeah.
Schalke.
Well, they're gonna get relegated.
Yeah, they're gone.
Yeah, they lost to Leverkusen. Mustafi has been dropped from the squad. Apparently, he might not even play another game for the rest of the season. I read a comment. Is Mustafi loved by any of the clubs he's been at? And I felt kind of bad when I read that.
Unfortunately, no. His confidence, his mental state is probably not the best. I feel for the guy. I hope he can maybe find a different club where he can kind of get away from the media.
Where he can actually hopefully it'd be better.
Yeah, but when your club's in the relegation zone, I don't think it's gonna help either, man.
Yeah.
So.
Leverkusen defeated Schalke 2-1. They're still struggling this season. They're exactly the same position as Dortmund, and of course other matches went on.
That's the thing. You consider where Leverkusen and Gladbach were earlier in the season. It's like, what happened?
Gladbach, I think that's more to their coach, like the ownership saying that their coach is going to Dortmund at the end of the season, and players being less motivated to play, I guess.
100%.
But Leverkusen were undefeated in the season, halfway through the season or something?
Until they played Bayern, Greg.
Bayern just ruins teams.
Yeah, but Union Berlin, Stuttgart, they're still doing well up there. And then the relegation, it's very tight. 14th is Hertha Berlin, who at 25, and 17th, which is the automatic relegation spot, is with Armenia with 23 points. So it's tight down there. It's going to be tight towards the end of the season. But Woz, I think we should mention a big moment in a different league.
Are we talking Ligue 1?
We.
Okay, good. Yes, all right. So Ligue 1, I've actually had some excitement because I was watching PSG versus Lille, and it was actually not a bad game, even though it was like let me see here, Ligue 1 right now. So Jonathan David scored for Lille to defeat PSG and go on top of the league on table 1-0. Canadian, beautiful. Yeah, so I don't know. I feel like I personally don't understand why Ligue 1 gets a lot of hate. I don't get why it's labeled as a farmers league. I know I've been kind of on this like horse for way too long, but I don't understand it. Because it's not a bad league. There's a lot of great players in it, and people tend to say, "Oh, but their teams don't go far in the Champions League." Okay.
Lyon was in the Champions League semifinals last season.
And I hope Lille end up going win the league title, but it was just exciting to watch Neymar and Mbappe. It was a very back and forth game from when I watched. But then Neymar gets sent off in the 90th minute. He just pushes a player over because he's trying to get the ball, and it just seemed very childish. He kind of lost his temper. I thought he deserved to be sent off. It was a double yellow. So
Did you hear what he said to Jallo in the tunnel?
I did not.
Let me get it up here, because, yeah, of course, Neymar pushed Jallo, who was in that incident there.
Mm-hmm.
Neymar, apparently, he tried to attack them in the tunnel. I don't know if this source is it's NPN Lucarne, so I don't know if that source is good or not, but that is a headline that was there. Apparently one of the securities guards got completely bodied by Jallo. I'm trying to find out what he said. Never mind. Ignore what I remembered. What he said, it wasn't actually what he said. It was just a meme.
Oh, okay. But yeah, he also got sent off in the 9th minute. But yeah, no, like I was kind of earlier saying, a lot of people like, how is the Farmers League bullshit? Whatever. It's like I look at this league and I'm like, all right, they got some decent teams, but also this is the same country that has developed players that went on to win the World Cup in 2018. You're telling me that kind of country, that league, is a Farmers League? What? Something doesn't add up there. It's like, how do you win the World Cup, your country, but your league's country is a Farmers League? That's like what? So, I actually found something very interesting on Reddit about French football. Let me bring it up.
I mean, it's a little different what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. But.
Yeah, this is what would happen if the Paris team, like let's say Paris had a team competing in Euro 2021. Apparently, this is what it would look like. But players born in Paris, it's crazy. Martial would be striker. On the wing, you had Coman and Mbappe. In the midfield, you had Rabiot, Pogba, and Conte. In the back, you'd have Kimpembe and Koundé as center backs, Mukulele right back, Guerrero at left back. I knew he's Portuguese, but apparently he grew up in Paris, and Oriola as goalie. So like, that's a crack team. Yeah, just from one city. That's
a good team for
or
a
that's like,
city.
It's also like Paris and its close suburbs, and the average starting age is 25.
I think what that was, like a bunch of big cities in Europe that are football, right? Like lots of football love in those cities, like Paris, Amsterdam, London. Like those cities are like they produce a bunch of ballers, like guys that are great on the ball, that love the sport. And I think there's a bunch of players in those cities that don't make it to the top level or don't even make it to professional football, whether it's due to their upbringing, because sometimes a lot of those places in those cities are kind of like very poor, like very tough to live and grow up in.
No, that's fair. Should we move on to Serie?
Sure, let's quickly mention it. Serie. I didn't personally pay much attention this weekend to it, but it is looking closer and closer that Liam is gonna have to have the hot sauce.
Yeah, I think it's looking for hot sauce right now.
It's happening.
Yeah, because Inter are now 8 points ahead of Milano, so game in hand. Juve are now in 4th with 56 points. Atalanta in 3rd, Milan in 2nd. Yeah, Serie A. It's nice that there's going to be a different champion. It's just great. It's great to see.
I mean, this is exactly what we talked about earlier on when Inter got knocked out of Champions League, out of the Coppa Italia. It's just they had to go out and win the title, and it's what they're doing.
Yeah, they built a team to do it. Unfortunately, they're not in the Champions League anymore. It was just surprising to see a team win the league title and get bounced in the group stage. But, yeah, and also you had Juventus draw Torino 2-2. Ronaldo did score. Torino's 17th place, but giving Juve still some trouble, and it's kind of more seeming like, well, is Pirlo going to be gone at the end of the season?
We'll find out. There's It's still a bunch
Apparently
of games
he's
left.
staying. He's going to be there next season. So
You never know, man. You never know. But yeah, sorry for the quick recap there on Serie. We did not pay too much attention this
Honestly, let's
weekend.
be right here. The transition from international break to club football is always so weird, especially when it's so quick. You know, you had Poland versus England on Wednesday, and then boom, you have club football on the weekend. So I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, and all the Serie games pretty much happened on Saturday for the most part. So yeah.
Easter weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially with Easter, like everyone's so busy and life is busy. It's hard to keep up with things. But I found more things on Reddit. So unless you guys want to talk about other things,
Banter week.
yeah.
Or Banter
David
section.
Moyes apparently he admits West Ham will consider bids for Declan Rice and Thomas Tuchel. This is what he said. I don't know where the Bank of England is for Thomas, but I said with Declan, it would take the Bank of England and the World Bank of Scotland to get him. It will have to be the Bank of Czech as well for Thomas. So they're gonna try their best to hold on to Declan Rice and Suchek. West Ham.
If West Ham can get Champions League football, and they can keep those players, it's very
I was
exciting
thinking,
to watch.
let's say that. Imagine this. Okay, all right. So Chelsea get top 4, and they get 4th place, but then they win the Champions League as well. And let's say West Ham finished in 5th. West Ham. Now it's gonna be tough because Liverpool and Spurs are fighting for that 5th place spot as well in top 4. So it could be West Ham, Liverpool, Tottenham in 5th. Maybe even Everton can sneak in there. Like that's actually quite an interesting race we have going on there.
There's a crazy race.
Yeah, if you look at it.
Popcorn.
And then supposedly, according to Solskjaer, I should have brought this up earlier. He confirmed that Anthony Martial will be out for the rest of the season with a knee sprain. So interesting. And Lucas, I don't know why you didn't. I don't know why you didn't bring this up, but there was a player in the Bundesliga who scored the fastest hat trick.
Oh, I did not know about that, honestly. That's probably why.
Patson Daka, 11-minute hat trick. Like, jeez,
my.
man.
Wait, for
Not
who?
5. It's still 5 goals in 9 minutes, but
Wait, that
wait,
can't be the fastest
wait,
Bundesliga
yeah,
hat
what?
trick.
Okay, what?
Was don't go at me like this. Piss off.
No,
It didn't even
Okay,
happen.
Reddit-
No
Reddit
team scored
totally
more than
just-
2 goals in the Bundesliga
Reddit
this
totally
weekend.
confused
Was
me. Oh, okay, in the Austrian Bundesliga.
piss off.
Yeah, this is what that it says. It says Red Bull Salzburg. Patson Daka's 11-minute hat trick from today is the fastest hat trick in Bundesliga history. So automatically, I thought the Bundesliga.
I heard
am a
the name.
fraud.
I heard the name. Patson Daka. I'm like, I didn't know he was in the Bundesliga. I thought he was still in Austria.
There we go. The funny moment of the podcast. Good. Oh Lord.
There was a report this weekend, or last weekend,
Yeah.
or last week. Potentially, Jack Grealish and Jadon Sancho's spot for the England squad for Euro 2020 is in question. And that Lingard is set to battle for that spot.
I'm not surprised the way Jesse Lingard's been playing.
Lingard's been fantastic since
Yeah.
going to West Ham. But I still, just quickly, I don't think there's any... I can't believe, Jack Grealish and Jadon Sancho would not be in that squad.
Well, I
It's
can't believe that's
crazy.
even a question, to be honest, Greg.
Yeah.
But it says here, Sky Sports News has learned Sancho and Grealish, they have not been told their place in Gareth Southgate's plans are under threat. Sky Sports News learned that despite a newspaper report claiming that the pair could miss out. But even with that being a question, it is insane to me.
Yeah, it really is. Jack Grealish has been absolutely fantastic this season. And Jadon Sancho had a slow start to the season, but he's still doing very good in the Bundesliga.
He's been injured lately, but yeah.
And so they both have. And I'm wondering if that's why they're saying that. They went, but
I
they
don't know.
should be back for the Euros. So
Of course, Trent was dropped from England too, but then he comes out and has a great game against Arsenal, so...
Yeah.
I'm very curious what the England squad's going to be and what the starting 11's going to be come that first game.
There's one question out of the way. We're very limited with questions today, guys. Apologies, with Easter weekend, things got a little messed up. But there was one question I totally missed from last week. It was from Instagram. I forget who sent this in. But doubt y'all will see this, but let's give it a try. Bench one, sell one, play one. Son, Sterling, or Mahrez?
It's an interesting one.
I think I will start Son. I will bench Mahrez. I think he'd be great off the bench. He has great vision, great intelligence on the ball, great dribbling. And I'm going to drop Raheem Sterling.
Ooh.
Nothing against him really. Maybe sometimes his finishing is not great, but
I think I would have start Son, bench Sterling, drop Mahrez.
That's what I'm thinking,
I
and
think.
it pains me to say that. Honestly, this is really tough. Actually,
these are always fun to do.
I mean, whenever we do these, I feel like I'm like completely disrespecting a player.
I think a player,
Yeah.
100%. When like I agree with Lucas and start Son, bench Sterling, and bench Mahrez, but it's like Mahrez is fantastic. It's like I'm trying to think of like different situations. Maybe it's because like Mahrez is surrounded by so many fantastic players, while Spurs has just like been kind of, So like Son doing all his fantastic play, it's like
I feel like
the
if
ball-
Mahrez
it's
was at a different club, I feel like my answer could be different because I feel
different.
like
Exactly.
he gets to express himself a little bit more at Leicester City, for example.
And the another question we have here from YouTube is: should FC Barcelona sign Xavi for manager or Koeman? Is Koeman good enough? I think the idea is to bring Xavi in eventually.
Eventually, but Koeman's doing pretty good right now. So
I
they're
think you got to be patient with Coleman. I think with how they've been doing recently, I think he deserves another year at least. And he's been bringing up young talent pretty well. I feel like Coleman should be there for at least another year or two. And then eventually, if Xavi gets more experience, and then he can just take over once Coleman's contract expires, I think that'd be an ideal plan. But of course, football can change a lot. Things could go completely nuts for Barcelona next year, and Xavi could just come in straight away. But I'd keep Koeman for now.
Club legends usually is like someone like Xavi. You just picture him being the manager of Barcelona.
Yeah, I think they're trying to build a team for him in the future. So, anything else for this podcast? I know this is shorter than usual, guys. I do apologize.
Any other YouTube questions?
No, I think that's all we had really from the last podcast. I can check through them, but that's all I can really see. But thank you everyone who listened, made it this far, and stuck with us. You guys are legends. Thank you to everyone in audio apps. Next week, I think we'll try to get more questions back on. It's just one of those one-offs. We hope you all enjoyed your maybe weekends off, Easter and whatnot, and staying safe out there with COVID. So, yeah.
Of course, we are going to be live streaming on Twitch this Tuesday and Wednesday for the Champions League. Of course, we'll also be on Locker Room after the matches on Wednesday. So stay tuned for that. Keep up with that. Keep up with our Discord and social medias to keep up with that.
For sure. And I guess as Liam always says, this was yet another week in the beautiful game. Take care.
Woz said it right.
Yay!